Hello, good morning. Welcome to QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. We are back again on another edition of your favorite morning program. Are you ready to conquer your day? This is the platform, that informs you, educates you, because we discuss a lot of things here, ranging from community watch, social issues, a lot of things. We also invite people on the platform to review the newspapers with us. When the need arises, we can even establish a call to the other end to talk to people, that will clarify certain information and stories. So I am here with Mam Nabuka. Mam Nabu, good morning.
Good morning, darling. It's good to have you back.
How was the weekend?
It was really good. Lots of rest had.
Yes.
How was your time off?
Yes, I had a good time. I took 2 weeks off. Was really great. A lot of relax. Sometimes you need to do it, at some point.
You do look very vibrant.
Oh, really? Thank you, Ma'am Nabu. Mr. Momodu Mboj is our newspaper review guest. Mr. Mboj, good morning.
Good morning.
So, they must spend jail na ni?
Yes.
Affaire bu garaaw, we are expecting Messi is going to do another back-to-back, but unfortunately for Argentina.
Yes, there was always the Messi factor. You just never know with genius, But Spain against France, they showed us something else. They moved on to another level.
Yeah.
So we were not sure whether anybody could follow them there. Not even the great Messi could make a difference.
Yeah. So, yesterday we've seen, football, it's a very funny game sometimes. Even you can have great players, but your opponent might have very good tactics as well, and which is also an advantage. You talked about defense, and we've seen Spain's defense, was very strong yesterday.
Oh, absolutely. And you talk about football, but in sports generally, you just never know what's going to happen. You see, on paper, you may have all the advantages, or one team or one person, if it is an individual sport, may have all the advantages. But on the day, somehow, sometimes, the favorite doesn't always win.
True.
That's the wonderful thing about sports. It's inherent unpredictability. That's it. And life is like that. To my mind, sports mimics life. So there's always cause for hope.
Absolutely. So we'll take a look at the African code from the code and the newspaper review with Mr. Momodu Mboj. And we'll also be talking to Idrissa Balde, Principal Food Inspector, Food Safety, and Lamin Jaite, Scientific Officer at the Food Safety. And the topic will be safe food handling and food safety during the rainy season. And we'll also be looking at the World Cup 2026 update with Momodu Gajaga. But first, Ma'am Nabu, take us through the African code.
So today what we have for the African proverb is very interesting. The forest is strong because every tree stands in its own place. It's a very, very brilliant proverb. It does point towards the fact that it is our differences that makes us stronger as a community. What do you guys think?
Absolutely. Every tree stands in its own place.
In its own place.
See, that's
very self-explanatory.
Very crucial.
Its own place.
Yes, stands in its own place.
Yeah.
Almost as if we all have sort of our own place within an ecology, as it were, of interdependency.
Yeah.
People will have to do different things, diversity.
Multiplus, yeah.
Right. We said it, in a sort of hierarchical, snobbish kind of way.
Yeah.
But in reality, we know that there are different roles that different people play for an organization or a collective. It could be a business, a nation, whatever. But people doing their things, what they are supposed to do. You see, that's how the collective works. So this is a very good proverb, even for us as a nation, in our history, isn't it? Why aren't things going right? Why isn't the collective, the body politic, why isn't it working? Maybe individuals are not doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. And it's very interesting that he mentioned the hierarchical aspect of it, because a lot of people are forced to conform to things that they are not very good at, just to fit in these hierarchical standards, which at the end of the day, it does affect us in ways that we can't possibly begin to understand.
True.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like every person, if you take the right place where you're supposed to be, there'll be no commotion, there'll be no issues. You know. Mam Nabu mentioned it. Sometimes people want to act otherwise because of what people think, or what will people think at some point. So it's important for you to know your place, even in our societal setup as individuals. Knowing your limitations, knowing where you should stop as an individual can really help you, and in fact can help your mental health as an individual.
It's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
We are quite self-delusional. We have all sorts of ideas about what we are. You know what I mean? Yeah. Somebody who knows you, maybe your siblings, somebody who's known you all your life, will look at you and say, the person has a different perspective.
Exactly.
Say about you.
Yes.
So there are just so many different things
But
blocking, fogging the way. So we will always argue over what's my place, or what are you supposed to do. So the sources of conflict are just so many. So maybe the trick for a society is how do you build into it conflict resolution mechanism. You know, perhaps in former times, there's a commotion in the community, let's go to the elders. You have your mechanisms in place to keep these things in check, because they will always be. It's just in the nature of human beings. Yeah. Especially where you allow us freedom. Maybe where there's dictatorship, we'll be scared to do certain things. But where you give people freedom, man.
But Mr. Mbojo, what do you also say about having a sense of self, knowing oneself, because that kind of also protects you from a lot of these, conforming to people's perspectives as well?
Absolutely. Self-awareness. It's really very difficult, because we are told that we have certain cognitive biases.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So always how we perceive things, we sort of tend to perceive things in ways that would be favorable to us. Or if I am self-destructive, this is a very interesting part, if I'm self-destructive, I'll always look at things in a negative, unfavorable way. Oh, I am not worthy. Oh, I am not this. You are not right. Just as with the other side, the person who thinks that, oh, I'm always good, no, that's not right. So having the right calibration, the right kind of self-awareness, recognizing your weaknesses and also recognizing your strengths. So that takes some process, because you see yourself in different situations and how you react.
And a person with a logical mind,
you must
be able to think properly. Yes.
Reasonable, but reflective. You know, even logic has its limitations.
Yeah, it does.
You know, really, we are moved more by our passions than by our reasoning, really. So it's just a matter of, with experience, with time, you see how you respond to different circumstances, then you begin to learn about yourself. And then perhaps that might give you some control. Once I know that these are my weaknesses, then I'm watchful. You know, how many times I'll find myself in a situation, I'll say something or do something, and I'll say, Mboj, don't be stupid. Mboj, don't be stupid. Then I'm watching really myself, because I know that I have a weakness in that.
That's why it's very important to be in environments that allow you to discover that, to grow and notice things of that nature. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for you to get to that
And talk
extent.
to people you trust, people who measure up. You see, that is not just anybody. You see, with some people, you talk to them, you gain a lot. You gain a lot. Yeah. So they're not going to be nice.
Yes.
They'll tell you the truth. They'll tell you stuff as they are, the hard stuff. Maybe that you cannot see. We all have our blind side, as they call it. So you always need that external perspective from particular minds. It's not every mind that can do that.
Very interesting, yes.
Absolutely. No. People will come and tell you, hey, Malam, I can tell you this. I'm like, please.
What you want to hear.
What have you done? You know?
Yes.
Yeah, what you want. So don't do that.
Yeah.
Always try to have a sense of
But,
realism.
but you said there are certain individuals that you can talk to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now they are very rare.
Well, I'm not sure whether they're rare. Just be able to identify. Just have the nose. You're not reasoning these things. It's just a nose. It's just a feeling and the intuition. Sometimes intuition can lead you far. Just have that and listen and compare to what you see in life. That's what you do, and you have to be honest about it. Listen and compare it to life. Then that could be interesting.
I agree with him because it's not that it's hard to find people like that. Some people, they have like this huge fear of talking to people of that nature because they could make you realize something that everything you've built up until to that point could fall apart. So that fear is also
Because
there
they'll be very frank with you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. I mean, viewers, if you want to send your comments on our social media handles, please, you can tell us your interpretation of this proverb. We've done ours. Now we will listen to yours.
Exactly.
Yes.
But the key takeaway from our platform, really, individual responsibility.
Yes.
It is absolutely key. Individual responsibility that goes to make the collective strong. That's really what this is. The forest is strong.
That's the forest.
Absolutely. But you see, it goes back to individuals. So we've been saying
When you
this
enter,
for a
when
very
you
long
enter a
time.
forest, for example, you see a huge, I mean, the forest, I mean, of trees.
Yes.
But individual
Go in
trees
there.
combined together and
But go
create-
in there, you see individual trees.
Yes, yes, yes.
Individual
But from
trees.
the outside, you can see it's a huge forest. Yeah, so
Fantastic.
viewers, we'll take a short break. And after the break, then we'll take a look at some of the stories on the newspapers. We'll be back.
Cheapest tariff in the Gambia and enjoy crystal clear calls and super fast internet at the cheapest tariff only with QCell. Rush now and grab your free QCell SIM card today from any of our care centers near you. QCell, the biggest network with the cheapest tariff. QCell Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow. In December 2026, Gambians head to the polls to choose a president, and history may hang in the balance. As the day draws near, every week, right up to Decision Day, QTV will lead the political conversation. And nobody breaks it down like QTV. Our team of experts will help you understand the results as QTV brings you Decision 2026. A weekly program dissecting the issues, driving the debate, and giving Gambians a front row seat to the hottest topics for the defining election of our time. Hear differing views, put forward and challenged, manifestos dissected and explained. Stay informed, stay engaged. Stay tuned to QTV for everything you need to know about this year's election. Decision 2026, Thursdays at 9 p.m. Only on QTV.
Q Money is changing the game with mobile money payment. Now, you can pay your QCell mobile broadband plan faster, easier, and way more convenient with your Q Money wallet. Just open the Q Money app or dial *323#. Select option 4 to buy or pay your broadband plan in seconds. No stress, no lines, no last-minute panic. Whether you're streaming your favorite shows, browsing the web, or working from home, stay connected without missing a beat. Stay connected the easy way with QMoney's QCell mobile broadband payments anytime, anywhere. For more information, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Senior Carpet. Terms and conditions apply.
In today.
This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde and I'm with Mam Nabuka and Mr. Momodu Mboj. Now let's head to the newspapers. We have the Standard newspaper here. On one of the headlines, calls for swift resolution to Gambia-Senegal border issue after block barracks demolition. Mr. Momodu Mboj, Gambia is a sovereign state, and you know, it also holds its own responsibility by itself. So, I mean, another force coming into the country and demolishing a particular thing might be sort of an encroachment. I mean, it brought a lot of mixed feeling among people when they saw that. And many people ask questions that is Gambia losing it as a nation, that we cannot even talk about issues that are affecting us as a country?
What are the facts? You've just narrated all sorts of things that we need to fact check completely, yes?
To establish the fact whether,
I do
whether
not
it is
know.
real.
Did we encroach? What's precisely the outline? I mean, we've been having border issues with Senegal ever since the Gambia was born, for God's sake. The back and forth.
But
here, we are told that Senegalese soldiers destroyed about 200 meters of the perimeter fence at Bullock. Should they have done that or not? What kind of arbitration do we have in place since we've got the secretariat?
I'll come in here. You see, Mr.
So what are the facts here? Let's establish the facts.
The way authorities respond, I mean, it's like they don't even know what was going on. You understand? We've seen some of our ministers and senior government officials who went to the scene itself. But from their conversation, you will understand there was no even a consultation between Senegal authorities and the government of the Gambia.
A statement was released, actually, kind of, speaking against what happened, but also praising the way the security forces handled it, I guess, to maintain diplomatic relations. But, Mr. Mboch, just to bring you back to the topic, I think the question is, why do we not have a demarcation framework between Senegal and the Gambia? Why is that not a thing for things like this to keep from happening, border issues as such?
I think there are. These are taking us a long time to establish, but these things are not easily done. What's the border between ourselves and Senegal? 700 kilometers, something like that. It's massive, virtually all over the place. And the border's been shifting.
Yes.
In some areas, it's kind of difficult to lay down the precise line, as it were. I understand that sort of internationally, you have this space given between two territories.
No
it's like
man's
a neutral
land.
Yeah, it's a neutral zone.
It's called no man's land.
Okay, if you can call it that. It's a no man's land space. So this is it. This is what we were talking about. Sometimes conflict would arise. Here, let us try to establish the facts, not to inflame emotions.
Yes.
Oh, Gambia, are we losing our sovereignty? We already start talking like that without really knowing what the truth is. Really, right now, all we're hearing is just rumors. With us, we should be more responsible than that. Establish what the facts are, and what are the rights and wrongs of whatever's going on. Is there a tribunal of arbitration when it comes to this? I'll be surprised if we didn't have any. Given the relationship, we call it Senegal or Gambia Secretariat. We've had this for so long. One would have thought that it would have all sorts of mechanisms, to smoothen relationships. So I'll be surprised if there isn't any. But this is what happens, brothers, sisters, siblings, sometimes we fight. As a nation, that's what happens.
Well, one thing I know, it would have, happened the other way around if our forces happen to respond without taking their time. Imagine, demolishing that perimeter fence, and, the Gambia Armed Forces respond with anger and power at some point. That would really bring a lot of issues.
What had happened before? It's just an incident out of the blue, or had it been brewing? Things were happening that we didn't know about, and suddenly the other side said, "That's it. Enough is enough. We're going to go for it."
Yeah,
so this is what I mean by we have to establish the context. Nobody can tell me that this just happened without a context.
We cannot finalize that.
Yes, that's exactly
you understand? Another mindset will tell you, okay, I don't think these people will just come and demolish something without taking a step before, or maybe talking to certain people before. That we need to wait and see whether it's been happening.
My suspicion is that there's a history to what just happened. Things had happened. Maybe afterwards they will come to light. It will be very, very surprising that suddenly, from nowhere, These people just come and demolish and just bulldoze this perimeter fence. Maybe there was a warning, oh, you cannot do that, you are encroaching onto our territory. Maybe, we do not know. So let's just try to establish the context of this, and then before we pass judgment, it is not safe at
Whatever
all.
the case, Gambia and Senegal, as far as security is concerned, I think these are two nations, I mean, that should work hand in glove. I mean, I think there are a lot of memorandum of understanding between these forces, I mean, to make sure to keep Gambia and Senegal safe, especially most example at the border end.
Mister, it's just a bit like the tongue and the teeth. Whether you like it or not, you have to accommodate each other. You have to find a way of working. We are condemned by geography. That was nobody's fault. You're almost entirely surrounded by Senegal. You gotta get along.
Yeah.
Somehow, you know, there must be, especially now, there'll be certain aspects of your security that will rely on your interdependence. So much of our external threats, so much climate change, whatever, there's so much of the threats now we face as nations, you have to solve them as groups, you know, with bilateral, multilateral agreements, all sorts of things. But nobody, even the Great West, individual countries, nobody can solve anything individually anymore. You have to solve it in partnerships. So willy-nilly, we have to work with Senegal.
Yeah.
So let's allow the grown-ups, yeah,
To talk.
the grown-ups
Yeah.
to go in the room and
All
talk.
right, from Senegal, I mean, armed forces demolishing part of our perimeter fence of the Gambia armed forces in Bullock. Now, Jomai Faye is now the chair of ECOWAS, taking it from Bureau of Sierra Leone. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it rotates. it's their turn. Absolutely. At a time when he's going through, oh my God, what do I call it? The political heat. Suddenly in Senegal, the kitchen is getting hotter.
It's a lot of things happening in Senegal as well, considering that Macky Sall is also, you know, going after the UN bid for Secretary General.
Absolutely, but there's something else. But what struck me, well, from what I've heard, I haven't seen it, I have to say, that when Macky went to Senegal, I mean, the people who
The
came
crowd.
out,
I
the
was
crowd, it was
astonished
astonishing.
seeing the amount of people that came out for him, considering the amount of criticism that he received while he was leaving his presidency.
Yeah.
I didn't think that would happen.
See?
It was very surprising.
Calm down. That was a lesson. I just hope that everybody watched it. A lesson in politics. Not long ago, Pastef in opposition, they had this image built. When you are in opposition, it's easy to so-called have a brand. All you have to move is just your lips. Then Macky was just so unpopular. Now Pastef in power.
Now
They're beginning to see the realities of power. Now it's much more than your lips. It's about your action and the consequences. And suddenly, the whole perspective has sort of shifted a bit.
Yes.
Whereas before they were idealized, now they've been humanized, completely brought down. So suddenly, Macky wasn't bad after all. It's all about context. The context has changed now. Now you see these people in power. So suddenly your perspective about Macky would slightly shift. Oh, he wasn't bad after all. And, you know, and now that he's going for the UN thing, it's a big thing. It, you know, the sort of prestige Senegalese will derive from that sort of thing. So perspectives have shifted somewhat, given the unfolding realities.
So, what do you think, I mean, going for the UN seat, I mean, considering the opponents, do you think Macky Sall stand a chance?
Oh, they all stand a chance. Maybe politics, maybe gender politics. I've been peddling this idea for a while. Maybe gender politics might tilt it. I think there are, 4 women and 2 men. The last time I checked, maybe one was dropped, I don't know. My suspicion is that now there is some kind of pressure to have the first female woman Secretary General. My suspicion, this is a suspicion, that gender politics might tilt it towards one of the women candidates.
It's
I don't know.
What do you think, Mom Nabu?
I mean, I don't think. Okay, it's obviously we're advancing in terms of gender politics, gender equality in the world everywhere. But
And the
what did
numbers,
it?
4-2.
But do you think
Numbers.
I think
we can talk about gender politics, we can talk about women empowerment, but the world, do we really believe in it?
I
You know.
think at the end of the day, what should speak for things is someone's ability to lead at the end of the day. I mean, it's interesting to look at gender politics or gender equality in general, but I believe in what does this person have to offer and should they be in that position. Yeah, I think it should rely on that.
Perhaps more fundamentally, what can the position do? What is the UN for? What can it achieve? What it cannot achieve? It's an organization, it's a body.
Yeah.
It's got constituents. And the constituents, some are more powerful than others. What do you do with the powerful US? In fact, the headquarters is in New York. It's in the US. It gives more money than anybody else. When I give more money, any human being, anywhere, we want to idealize, but in reality, when I give you more money, don't worry, man. You're going to dance to my
So do you want to
tune
tell me
sometimes.
if they feed you, they control you?
Just to some extent, your agenda, you set the agenda on many things. We've had sort of secretaries general pushing back. The very first one, really, Dag Hammarskjöld, was completely crazy. They call him, no wonder some people think that he was assassinated when he was going to the Congo in the 1960s. But he tried to establish a really independent, as it were, UN and the like. But after him, it just cannot be. How do you deal with power? Look at it already, the Security Council. That's the power, not the General Assembly, where most of us are, and who are the permanent members. So structurally, it reflects the power in the power structures in the world. How could it not be? So what can you expect from it? The UN is not here to take us to heaven, as Dag Hammarskjöld said, but to save us from hell. That's all that it can do.
All right, let's move on. I mean, the over 200 feared dead in migrant boat tragedy.
I feel like we've had the same conversation
Can you see?
multiple times over.
And-
no
and
change is being made.
The surprising thing is, even if you talk about this here, you will still see other people will still move next week or next month. You will still hear the same stories again. But we will never stop talking about it. I mean, our job is just to, enlighten people on the dangers of this illegal migration.
Our job as journalists is to report it.
Yeah.
You know, the other bit, the opinionating, the features and all of it, that will come. But it has happened, this is what happened. Now society, what do you make of it? That's a different argument, isn't it? So we've been reporting these things for God knows how long.
Yeah.
And many people will tell you, first time they go, they try to leave, they don't succeed, they return, they will try again. They will tell you how many people have we interviewed. They said exactly another opportunity, they will go again. Or we are facing, I think, a degree of hopelessness that's just quite extraordinary. Most people will blame, oh, there's no employment, which is true. There's high unemployment, skills training. There are all kinds of socio-economic reasons behind it. But I feel that it's much more than that, given the individual stories that we have been seeing. So the way to deal with this culturally, that's an intermediate, longer term solution. In the short term, with our police, do we have good intelligence? How well do we patrol the seas? So these practical steps may possibly help in the short term, making it extremely difficult to go, rather than appealing to, oh, government provide this, government provide that. We all know that government cannot wake up tomorrow and do it. Life doesn't work like that. progress or improvement.
Takes
It's
time.
not done by directives.
Yeah.
Nobody can give a directive when that happens. So realistically, these are longer term aims. But in the short term, what do you do? Apart from these practical steps that
Do you
one
think
takes.
there's
to
an
make it difficult, what do you
attitudinal
do?
factor there involved that could be looked at?
With us? Oh, absolutely. But this is what I'm talking about. Attitudinal, that's a long-term project. People just don't
Right.
wake up and change.
Change,
It
that's
doesn't work
true.
like that. It's always a process. Change is always a process. So that's what I mean. So everything we talk about, these are really intermediate, longer-term solutions. For the immediate stuff, people, we have no idea what to do. So you listen to the politicians, they really have no idea what to do. Because everything, the solutions, that's for longer term, intermediate and longer term. Immediately, there's nothing that they can do. Apart from the intelligence breaking up these traffickers, locking them up,
That's
you
what
know,
we're in
this
that process.
practical law and order issues, operational efficiency in making it difficult. How do we get help patrol the seas? You know what I mean? That sort of practical stuff.
Yeah.
Short of that, we'll just be having these all the time.
It does have a point.
Yeah, so let's move on. On the Foroyaa newspaper, state drops murder charge against Sana Manjang and files assault charges.
Wow.
That was really,
Extraordinary.
when I saw that the other day, I was like, oh, wow. After all the revelations on the TRRC.
I mean, if putting public outrage and the TRR testimonies, which were very concrete on the table, it still doesn't prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt. They have to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt to be able to, prosecute him in certain manners. So I think that is also something
So,
that
lu
can
ñu
be
wane
looked
luwa
at.
dafa sew diga la de.
Law out of a cell, yeah.
The state prosecutor. My suspicion is that the state prosecutor is bringing itself in the spotlight because of the high-profile messes, as it were, in the courts. So what's going on there with the state prosecutor? There are a few high-profile cases, though we will get them to come and tell us that, oh, we've won 85 or 90% of our this or our that. But in certain high-profile cases, when you read the judgment of these judges, they've not been flattering
Okay.
on the operations of state prosecutors in recent cases. Okay? So this is really quite fascinating. It should be interesting to know precisely why. They didn't get the evidence
Yes,
or
yeah.
what was going on. It should be fascinating to know precisely why. Or are you trying to run away from another sort of headline, hush up? I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think it will also be like decades long of forensic evidence that they have? Could it be difficult to look at?
That is one aspect. You know, with evidence, it can come from anywhere,
Right.
really, yes. The forensic stuff, yes, it's a game changer when you get the forensic stuff. It's very solid evidence. But in the absence of that, there are other ways of establishing guilt, you know, in many ways. And I nearly said innocence, but it's not about innocence at all. That is why when they tell you you are either guilty or not guilty, they never say you are innocent. That's a slightly different thing. So what the evidence presents, you are either guilty
Or not
Not
guilty.
guilty.
depending on what we have. And they have their own ways of determining the burden of proof, what is beyond reasonable doubt, or the
Yeah.
other one.
So
So it depends.
I mean, the question that I asked is, okay, after the TRRC, who was conducting most of these investigations? I mean, to present to the courts, or Sana Manjang was brought to book just to from the revelations of the TRRC, or was there a body that was investigating all these atrocities committed during
See,
Jammeh's time?
we don't need to know that. The TRRC, they collected the evidence. Now, with the state prosecutor, this is a case. And then we decide whether do we go to court. You look at what evidence you've got. That will determine what charges you will bring. So when they were bringing in the charges that they just withdrawn, what were they thinking? What did they have? Suddenly, what has changed for you to withdraw that and substitute it with another one? So, yes, there is a process that goes on that will determine whether do we go to court. Do we have enough to go to court? So, I would like to think they felt that they had enough. That was why they went to court in the first place and filing those charges. Suddenly, what has changed for them to withdraw those charges and substitute with another one?
Yeah, so Ahmad Ba, calls for stronger urban investment, climate action at the UN Habitat meeting. Climate change, it's a problem. We have seen the effects of climate change. It's prevalent. We are seeing it. Even this rainy season, we've seen, flooding. So it's important for us to take action. But we keep talking about taking action. When are we taking the action?
That's it. That was why. When you were talking about we've seen the effects, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about our solutions. Dangote was here recently, Aliko. He said, we've been talking about potential all the time. When are we going to actual? It's time for actual, not potential. Action. You know what I mean? Actual. That sort of thing. Oh, yes. The international community, how much can we expect from them? The dynamics, the politics of the West is changing. And they're the main powers, they're the one with money. Therefore, that will change institutions as well. In what way would it go? When you look at, they don't want immigrants anymore, but this has a corollary, diplomatically, internationally. So that means their development budget, they will cut it as well. We are all part of that bigger package of sort of resentment, as it were, in the West now. So what next? One gets the sense that African nations now, lower income countries around the world, really, we're beginning to get the sense of what is going on, and maybe there is some commitment now to see that, we are in trouble. If we better come together, we better do this or we better do that. Otherwise, things will be worse. Because what we relied on, they're all being dismantled. The chief wrecking ball, they call him, Donald Trump, and we're wrecking everything. So now we are beginning to be scared. Boy, what we wanted, what we expected is all gone. So we are moving to China. Have you seen?
Yes.
Most of us were pivoting to China.
Recently, it's grown.
Absolutely. But this is interesting. We are not necessarily pro-Chinese. It's just that the West have done this, so we are running for cover. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. When you listen to our people saying, the Chinese are good, this is a win-win situation and all of that, I'm like, please, you are running for cover. That's all
you are running for power. For cover. Well, nampamam, nunula,
but it's important that we really learn, if we're going to learn from the Chinese, the right lessons. Most of our people, when they return, China, they're so disciplined, they're doing this, they're doing that. And I'm like, would that reflect in how you do things now? And then suddenly they tell me, fi Gambia la.
Exactly. I was going to come to that question. Like within us nationally, what can we do?
Don't worry.
Thank you. Like within us nationally, what can we do to curb climate change as well? We can't be relying on international partners all the time.
But you have to. Sovereignty doesn't mean isolation. But what kind of relationship is it going to be? You know what I mean? Nico Gaidan, hey, don't give me fish. Teach me how to fish. As it were. Give me fish. But with Chinese,
now you teach me how to
with
fish.
China, we're starting to learn so much. How to do organization, how to work things. The bureaucracy, civil service. They're among the first to have civil service examinations before you become a civil servant. The high standards. There's so much we can learn from the Chinese.
So, Mr. Momodu Mboj, we've exhausted the newspaper review time.
Cheers.
And now we'll take a short break. After the break, we'll be talking to the team from Food Safety. We'll be back.
In today's world, speed matters, but slow internet can hold you back. Now, the future of connectivity has arrived in the Gambia. QCell's Q-Fiber, ultra-fast, ultra-reliable internet designed for the way you live. Stream your favorite shows without buffering. Power your business with seamless video calls. Study, work, and play online like never before. From homes to businesses, QCell Fiber is connecting the Gambia to the future. QCell's Q Fiber. Get connected today. Call 145 or 300-3779. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sinubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to the QCell 5G Gaming Hub, powered by ultra-fast 5G connectivity from QCell, the fastest network in the Gambia. No lag, no limits, just pure performance. Multiple PlayStations, Xbox racing with full car wheel control, and immersive virtual reality experiences that put you inside the action. Play the biggest titles: FIFA, Call of Duty, NBA 2K, Street Fighter 6, Forza, and many more. Experience gaming like never before. The QCell 5G Gaming Center is open weekdays from 12 p.m. and weekends from 11 a.m. Closed Tuesdays. For bookings and inquiries, call 381-0008. The QCell 5G Gaming Hub. Not just gaming. This is the ultimate gaming experience.
Gambia, are you ready for something big?
From your trusted GSM operator, QCell, your favorite app just got a major upgrade.
From your phone to the world, buy credit, buy Sunu bundle packages, loan credit with eFankanta, and buy Q Power all in one place.
And here's the real upgrade. Q Money is now fully integrated in the app. Send money, pay bills, save money, so faster and easier than ever.
And for our entertainment lovers, stream QTV, Q Radio Live anytime, anywhere.
But that's not all. This upgrade also brings enhanced security features, smoother performance, and a brand new interface designed to save your time.
This is more than an app.
This is freedom at your fingertips.
Download the new QCell app today and unlock your digital life.
For more information, call our customer care on 111.
QCell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Bokal si network bu gëna rëy gëna yombale si réewi Gambia bi fii jëfandikool call bu set internet bu gaaw li yëpp si njëg bu yomba fii si QCell dawal léegi si suñ customer care bu la gëna jege ñu may la QCell line te doo si fay dara. QCell network bu gëna rëy te it gëna yombale si réew mi fii QCell suñu bas ñoo xaali yoon bi ñeneen toppa
naine dake network koto mi yalonko wole warta nyimbanko kan adung adabe soniaring wole nyama imuna fang telefono la mi yalonko abe seniaring adung internet wobe tariaring nyindung QCell dorna sinyin nati aleno ibori yela QCell line ota customer care mi suti atima bi QCell network ko mi warta network ko beti adung adabe soniaring QCell sunu boss ntollanga silo walang dulia bulan noma
Mitoma. First time cross, really threatening, and it's dropped for Minte, rifled in! Out.
Did you know you can buy cash power using Q Money Wallet absolutely free up to $30,000 Cs? Use our app or dial 323# and select Q Power. Choose Register Meter.
This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde and I am with Mam Nabuka. am na ku ñu teg si programme bi buñ doon waxtaan Senegal, Gambia, this demolition. Mu ne we cannot work with a country that sees us as an inferior nation. Gambia, we should stop outsourcing our security. A sovereign nation must have the ability to protect its own people and border. It's from Abbas Bojang. Thank you, Abbas, for sending in your message. Now let's move on. We have the team from Food Safety. We have Idrissa Balde, Principal Food Inspector, Food Safety. And of course, we have Lamin Jaite, Principal Scientific Officer. Gentlemen, it's good to have you on QTV this morning. And the topic we'll be discussing is safe food handling and food safety during the rainy season.
Thank you very much for having us here.
Yeah, I think we've done this, you know, a few months back.
Yes.
And, you know, it's good to have you, I think, before the rainy season starts.
Well, yeah.
So now we are here in the rainy season and talking about this. Why is food safety important, especially during the rainy season?
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Idrissa Balde. I'm from the FSQA and I'm very pleased to be here.
Okay.
Yeah, so food safety is the foundation of our health. You cannot get good health without having good food. You know, you cannot have good nutrition without having safe food. So this is why food safety should be everyone's business, and it should be 24 hours, 12 months, not just on the rain season. But the rains are here. We are blessed to have the rain. It's good for agriculture. You know, our farmers will be able to farm and enable us to have safe food, good food to eat in this country. And also it's good for the environment. But also it comes with other disadvantages. And that means whilst it is raining and in this time of the year, temperatures are high, humidity is high, it is also a perfect environment for microbes. That is basically bacteria, or like food pathogen, bacteria, germs, molds. They grow in temperatures are high. Let's say between 30 to 40 degrees is a very good temperatures for them. So whilst we are having good rain, it's also a good time for bacteria to grow. And when bacteria, I mean pathogenic bacteria grow, if you eat that food that has pathogenic bacteria, either it's E. coli, Salmonella, Listeria, or any other pathogenic bacteria, it can make you sick or it can make one of your family members sick.
Okay.
Yes, so we are going to discuss about this today here. I will let my colleague continue.
Yes.
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head. So it's basically based on these three principles, basically heat, humidity, and of course the floods during the rainy season. So this is one of the reasons why, of course, during this rainy season, we try to advocate for people to be aware of these three factors, because these are the three factors that influence food going bad during the rainy season. So if people are aware of these three principles, at least they could take measures to ensure that they protect their food against these three.
Yeah. You were just now talking about, you know, heat and all of these microbes, and it's kind of taking me to our farmers in our open markets, right?
Yeah.
So because a lot of these toxins do reside in our staple grains, one of which is, you know, a very good export product. So how do you approach farmers in regards to it?
Okay, thank you. So as we said earlier, when it is raining at this time of the year, also it's also a good time for microbes like molding and other mycotoxins to grow. So for example, let's say, before I touch about the farmer, let's talk about what is in our houses, because that is basically also one of the most important things. You have your food, either it is fruit or bread or any other food, and you still start molding. Then some people, they just rub it off, and they feel it's safe.
I do that sometimes.
Yeah, that's not safe. You know, so
That's a no-go area.
So, for example, it's not a no-go area because these molds sometimes they grow. There are studies that has been published that indicate that this mold they have, you know, this fungi hyphae. They have roots that go deep into the food that you cannot visualize with your eye. You know, so it will remain in the food. It is just all at the place that you see. If you wash it up, it doesn't mean that it is killed. And also, some of these molds, if you cook it, the mold or the fungi will die, but they grow toxins. They produce toxins. So these toxins they are heat resistant. They will remain in the food, so it will go into the food. So it's the same thing when you talk about the farmer. So probably what you are talking about was aflatoxin. Yeah, this aflatoxin, it grows, you know, it's basically a big problem for us in the country. You know, we are unable to export our groundnuts to European Union, which was our biggest market in terms of groundnut export, due to the aflatoxin that grows on our peanuts. Because in the Gambia, unfortunately, we are located in a, in a geographical area that is a very conducive area for aflatoxin growth. Aflatoxin grows between 28 to 30 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
I mean 40. So within that range, you know, where all around the year, Gambian temperature is around that, our average temperature. So aflatoxin do grow, whether it's in the farm or in sometimes at the storage. You know, so in the farms, when there are, after harvest, when rains happens, so this fungus will grow. And then it's a conducive also environment because this aflatoxin, when there is some moisture, it can grow very well. You know, and then also at the storage, where some storages are, you know, very, very hot, the aflatoxin will grow. You know, so this basically, and people need to find ways in preventing this, and basically by practicing good agricultural practices, and so that when you harvest your crop, you ensure that you you store them in a very safe environment. You know, and then basically mostly try and put them into a dege as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because the more they stay, the more, you know, you are very exposing them, especially if you put them in an ambient temperature. That means a room temperature. So that, yes.
So the main.
I will let this guy talk about it, because if this
okay, you can highlight on that. Then I'll ask my question. Yeah.
So basically, the key factor for aflatoxin multiplication or growth or contamination, I would call it, is moisture. Moisture is at the heart or at the center of everything.
Okay.
Because and that is one of the reasons why we advocate for people to ensure that their grains are dry, and the moisture content that is required to ensure minimal growth of aflatoxin, because you cannot eliminate it. You just have to reduce it to acceptable level.
Yeah.
So food safety in that context is, in some cases, you can reduce it to 0, but in some cases you cannot reduce it to 0. What you can do is reduce it to an acceptable level, where when you consume it, you will not get sick or whatsoever. So moisture is a key factor, and the moisture levels that is required for these molds not to grow is 10% and below.
Okay.
But in Gambia, often our farmers, when they are trying to sell their groundnuts, they understand that the value of their groundnut is on the weight of the groundnut.
Yeah.
So sometimes some of them will be compelled to kind of sprinkle their water, their groundnuts to kind of increase the weight, not knowing that that is actually causing a problem for us. And that is one of the reasons why we advocate for people that are buying groundnuts to have moisture meters. That way you can monitor the moisture meter to ensure that the groundnut you are buying is actually below 10%, because if it is above 10%, when you store these groundnuts, of course, these molds will multiply. And as they multiply, they are producing toxins. And then, as Dr. Balde has stated, you can't really stop them when they start multiplying and producing toxins. Then you can't really treat these toxins because they are heat resistant.
So, I mean, this education is important for farmers to know. Right. You know, probably farmers don't even know what aflatoxin is, some of them. What have you been doing as food safety, I mean, to educate these farmers?
So in general, over the years, we've done quite a lot of interventions in these areas. And from research to advocacy to actually also even introducing a kind of like a strain that is similar to the aspergillus flavus, the fungus that produces the aflatoxin. A similar strain, but it's a type that does not actually produce the toxin. It's called Aflasafe SM1. So both the Gambia and Senegal are using this. So what you do, the same way you apply fertilizer on the farm is the same way you can apply this. Okay. So what it does is, it competes with the fungus that is producing the aflatoxin.
Okay.
If it outcompetes it, it means it's not there in the first place to produce the toxin. So we've, in collaboration with the Gambia Groundnut Corporation and the Ministry of Agriculture, we are able to with the African Union, of course, we were able to pilot this in the Gambia, and the results were very promising. So I think what we could do is for us to go back into intensifying and also supplying farmers with this type of strains so that they can apply in their farms. But of course, the other aspect that we've been doing with farmers, especially with collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, is trying to ensure that the code of practices for the reduction of aflatoxin, this for farmers to implement this code of practices, because the code of practices is a guide that provides a step-by-step guidance on how to ensure that you reduce aflatoxin contamination. So we've been doing some advocative programs. We've been developing posters. We've been going and sensitizing farmers on the do's and don'ts. And of course, in the past, our farmers used to be very good in their farming practices. I think we have to go back to our old methods of farming, because before, when you farm, when you harvest your groundnut, you ensure that you lift the kernels for the kernels to be facing on top and the leaves to be facing the soil. But now you could see that those practices are not very much implemented. The reason why that is, of course, in the rainy season, it will rain and then moisture will be absorbed by the leaves, and of course, if it is on the leaves, it will trickle down on the kernels. But if it is the other way around, it goes down. So I think these are practices that we have to go back to. And also, of course, in the farms as well, they used to have how do you call it? They used to have platforms where they put their groundnuts on rather than living on the soil. So I think we have to go back to these practices and ensure that, of course, if we are storing our groundnuts as well, let us not put them in these plastic rice bags, these polystyrene bags. Let them put them in jute bags or containers that we can seal. Of course, the more you reduce moisture, because the key factor is moisture, the more you reduce the risk of aflatoxin contamination.
So moving away from grains, food at home, food at open markets, like I said, where, when it rains, there's mud everywhere, undisposed garbage. What are protection mechanisms that you advise people in marketplaces that are selling these foods to people that consume it every day, basically?
Okay, so in food safety, we have what we call the 5 keys to safe food. When you practice this, probably in the 99% of the time, your food will be safe.
Okay.
And one of it is like washing your hands.
Hand washing.
You should practice hand washing all the time. And when you say hand washing, not just on water, you have to wash your hand with a detergent, like with soap. Wash your hand, make sure that it's very, very clean. Before you touch food and after you touch food. After you went to the toilet or after you touch something which is not food. Anytime, like if you are selling food, before you touch any item, if you take any item before you come back to the food, like garbage, or you do cleaning, or you even touch money, you should wash your hand before you come back. And the next thing is you use safe raw material. That is, the food that you are buying, make sure that the food is safe. That is, when you are buying food for your family, you should observe the food well, organoleptically. Like you know, so that the food is like if it is chicken or is meat or it is fish, make sure the fish are fresh. Like they don't have any stickiness or slimy, or the eyes are fresh, or they don't have any smell. Or if it is the other kind of like let me say flour, for example, or rice, there is no discoloration. That is the natural color of the food. It remains. You look at the safe, and also the water should be from safe water. Yeah. So those are, and then make sure when you are cooking your food, you cook it thoroughly. Okay. Don't just cook it, or maybe you are heating it to a certain degree, you are hungry, you want to go and eat. Make sure that you cook it. If you cook it thoroughly, it makes sure it kills all pathogens. All disease-causing organisms will be killed. Okay. So you observe that as well. If you do that, and then you also separate food. That is, when you cook and the raw and the cooked one, you should be separating it. And when you are also putting it in the refrigerator, you should know how to put it. For example, you should not put the meat, the fresh meat or chicken on top of the chamber, and then you put the cooked one down, because these juices can seep into the meat, the cooked food, and contaminate it. So these are things that you should be always practicing when you. So at the open markets, we advise people not to put their food on the floor. Okay. Food should never be put on the floor, whether it's at your house or in the market or in the storage rooms. It should never be put in the market. When FSQA goes to inspections, for example, in the supermarkets, in the warehouses, we advise people to put their food, place their food on pallets.
Okay.
So generally, food should be placed at least 15 centimeters above ground. Before on the ground, you have like moisture. That is, this moisture, especially in this rain, can seep into the food, and it can cause molding, and fungal growth, those things. So, and also pathogen like bacteria. So basically, cross contamination can easily occur. So you should not place the food. If you see somebody placing their food on the market, on the floor, I advise not to buy that food. Yeah. Yes, and if FSQA inspectors find those practices, we usually confiscate that material. you know, because it's not allowed, you should not be doing
Doctor,
it.
when you
Yes.
mentioned handling of food,
Yes.
I remembered, you know, many years ago, there was a family that was rushed to the hospital.
Yeah.
They didn't cover the food, and the woman was cooking. A gecko entered the food.
That's why.
They didn't realize it, and they cooked everything, and everybody ate it.
And then what happened?
Can
They
you
all-
imagine?
they
They
have
were,
to-
at the end of the time, it was really a chaos at
This,
the house.
yeah, this is sometimes because all over the world, you know, in many countries of the world, there have been cases where there is food poisoning, contamination that could claim lives. Every year, about 1 million people die from foodborne diseases. That is, they get illness, or they died basically due to eating bad food. That is food that has been contaminated either by bacteria or fungi, viruses, or sometimes by chemicals. Yes, I'll allow my colleague as well to.
So I think it's a complicated issue, especially in our African context, especially with our market settings. So our markets are very much informal, and that is where the problem starts in. And that is one of the reasons why we've been trying to work with the municipalities to ensure that we address the issue from the design of the markets.
Yes.
Because ideally, markets should be zoned so that you know that in this market you have this type of foods in this type of areas. Based on risks, they can be distributed in that format. But if you go into our markets, everything is everywhere. And that is one of the sources of our main problem. And to address that issue, it becomes a challenge, taking into account the environment or the environment of the market. It becomes a bit more complicated, especially for us as a regulatory agency. So because it's like almost everybody is doing the same thing. How do you do that? It means if you want to take a certain intervention, you will have to close the market down. And that is one of the reasons why we have done something like that before. I think probably you've remembered us closing down the Brikama market, especially the fish market. Because sometimes it becomes so unbearable that you have to take measures, you have to take decisions. But of course, if we go back to the drawing board and ensure that we restructure our markets, based on zones, it's doable. It's just we have to go back to the drawing board. So these are the problems that or the challenges that we are faced with.
Because cross-contamination, it's common in food. It very happens. Now, food is something that is very jealous. It does not want to mix with anything non-food. So when you are preparing food or you are handling food, you should always make sure that you are only having food around that area. Or anything that could be injurious to human health should not come near food. Yeah, so and in our market system, it's difficult basically because it's difficult to police these people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, whatever things you do, sometimes you come back and you find them doing it.
Absolutely.
Another dangerous thing is you see shopkeepers selling insecticide with food near it as well. So those are things.
Yeah, those are very well. When our inspectors go, inspect, usually that's what we do. We look at those things like mixing food and non-food items. We definitely prohibit it. We try to discourage it. Yeah, when a consumer sees it and you tell a shopkeeper to stop it and they don't, you can call our office. Yeah, we always have customer complaints.
I was going to bring that up. And it's good that you brought up the shopkeeper because they do that a lot. They handle money and they go back to making your food and someone is consuming that.
And sometimes
the vendors actually.
They'll take their hands and put it in while they've been carrying
Yeah, they're vendors. So that's why.
It's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I even, if I go out and I want to buy egg, with bread, I never, allow the shopkeeper to kind of peel that for me.
Even me,
I buy the boiled egg and do it myself. Even at work, I usually do it. And even the mayonnaise, I make sure that I have it in my office to do it myself.
But why not
we
introduce gloves? Maybe we can tell
gloves.
Gloves are not the solution.
Yeah, they are not the solution. Gloves can be sometimes worse than your hand.
Yeah.
Yes. So, for example, if I'm handling food, right? And after that, I go and handle rubbish, or I went to the toilet with the glove, or doing other things. That means that glove is already contaminated.
Yeah.
So you are making worse actually. So you can only use glove if you are only going. But whenever you touch something beside the food,
you have to take it off.
Remove it. You change the glove to another one. And some people are not that disciplined to do that. They don't have that.
It kind of gives yourself, how do you call it? A sense of false protection.
Yes.
And that's why we advocate for hands. If you cannot do hands, that is when we you should do glove.
Yes.
Hands are the first priority, provided that you do frequently wash your hands.
Yes, because thank you, Lamin, for that. Because when we go inspection, for example, in the restaurants, food handlers generally, our inspectors look for the personal hygiene. For example, individuals should be well kept. You should not have all your hair all over you.
Yeah.
You should be covering your hair, and then you should ensure that you don't have any bangles or any rings, like wedding ring or anything. You shouldn't have it in your hand, and you should make sure that your fingernails are cut short.
Yeah.
So we look at those things. So if you find any individual having that, they will ask them to stop preparing food. Yes, because those are very good sources of food contamination.
And you were talking recently just now about how people can reach out to you. If you can expand on that, and what are some of the repercussions that these people face?
Yep. So you can reach out to us 1299.
Okay.
That is the number. If you call that number, you can reach out to us. Or you can also look at on social media, or you go to our website fsqa.gm, and you can also see our numbers there. You contact us. So almost weekly basis, we do have complaints. Some people, like people call us. Maybe they buy a product that may be expired, or they feel that the product is not good, like quality. Like last week, someone calling from Lamen, the person says that they buy a sardine, and the sardine was bad. It was not in good condition. And then we went there, we have a team that went there and checked. Okay. They found that the product is quality issue. Like it's not expired, but because high temperatures and humidity deteriorate the product before the expiry date. So we had to seize the product.
Okay.
Product, yes.
So I think more in Gambia, I think one thing we have to do more often as consumers in the Gambia is because food safety is a collective responsibility. Yeah. Yes, the government has its role to play, the businesses have their role to play, but of course, consumers equally have their role to play. But the primary responsibility is on the food business operator. However, every food item has labeling on them. And that is one of the reasons why you should be reading the labels. And Gambians don't often read labels. And it's one of the biggest challenges we have as a country is because people don't read labels. People just buy and consume.
The only time we read label when we taste it and it's not
nice.
good. That's the time we turn and say expired.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And often, if you look at the labels, one of the key information that goes on the label is how to handle that particular product, how to handle and store it. So if you buy that product and then you don't respect the handling and storage conditions, of course, the product would go bad way before the expected expiry date. So this is one of the things that sometimes you will hear complaints that lead expire it has gone bad. But of course, you have not respected the handling and storage conditions. Exactly. And this is more important than even the expiry date.
Yes.
Because if you respect the handling and storage condition, then it means you increase the shelf life of the product.
Yeah.
So the handling and the storage, the shelf life of the product is conditional. It only would be valid provided you respect the handling and storage conditions. And this should go across the board. Okay. So Gambians should go back to reading labels.
Also about expiry products, I have to ask this question.
Sometimes anything, please.
When products expire and people are like, oh, you can eat it even a week after it has expired. Yeah. Is this true? And
so shelf life. So if you look at dates, there are different types of date markings.
I've seen best before.
Exactly. Yeah. So date markings, they differ based on the type of products. So basically, you can see a product, you could see best before, you could see expired by, you could see used by, you could see sell by. And all these things mean different things. So best before and sell by dates are quality related recommendations. So what the manufacturer is telling you basically is that past that date, that best before or sell by date, I'm not guaranteeing the quality of the product, not necessarily the safety. So products like that, you can consume it past their best before date or sell by date, provided that this is the condition, provided
well handled.
Handling and storage conditions are respected.
Yeah.
If they are not respected, then, but the ones that are labeled by used by or expired by, that the manufacturer is actually telling you, past that date, I cannot guarantee the safety.
Okay.
So these are the different types of date markings.
But I just want to clarify,
yes,
Lamin, that FSQA, we do not encourage anyone to sell after any date.
Yes.
As far as if it is, for example, today, if it is 20th of July, after this day, we will seize the product. When we seize the product, we will seize it. We will not confiscate it, and you should not be selling it. But we are talking as a consumer, it's your decision to make.
Yeah.
If you make that decision, it's fine. And FSQA is not officially encouraging this. Okay, right. This Lamin says it's just scientific.
So basically,
just saying it's scientific
yes.
knowledge, right? Exactly. That's scientific. This is scientifically what he said is scientific. You have scientific evidence.
It's important.
But for FSQA, if we as business people should know that when it is like best buy, sell by, expiry date, by that date you should not be putting the product in yourselves.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that is the law.
it. And if FSQA find this product and yourself, you will apply the law according to.
So this is a distinction between the law. But of course, we have to also take into account that globally, there is this global food crisis and all that stuff. So that's why the scientific, even if you like go to internationally guiding documents for food safety, you find this information on them. But the reason why Dr. Balde is making emphasis on this is because of the handling and storage aspect of it. Because you have no guarantee whether that particular product is being handled and stored as expected.
Okay.
And this is why I said when I was making that statement that provided the handling and storage conditions are respected.
Right.
So if you as a consumer, you know the product that you've been having, like for example, you bought something in the past and then it has been with you at home for quite some time, and it has been with you, and you know you have respected the handling and storage conditions, like for example, if it is biscuit, right? You know you have respected this, it's up to you for your personal choice to say, I have respected the storage conditions, you know, I can handle and store, I can consume this, pass it back. So these are conditional things. But as far as the legal basis, if we find it in the market, we'll take it.
Thank you, gentlemen. We've exhausted this time already.
Okay.
You know, it's important for us to enlighten the people. You know, we can also start practicing these things at home, you know, teach our young ones as well. Food handling is very important because it goes into your stomach. Anything that goes there, you have to make sure it's really handled.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you, Doctor, and thank you, Mr. Jaite, for coming.
Thank you very much for having us here. FSQA, we help protect the public. You know, we prevent, they say prevention is better than the cure. And in food safety, the most important thing is preventing.
True.
You know, once you put it into a stomach, as you said, you know, you can never get it out.
True.
So thank you very much, QTV, for inviting us.
Thank you.
It's really helpful, and then we're glad for having us here.
Yeah, so viewers, we'll take a short break. After the break, we'll be talking to Mamadou Gadiaga on the 2026 World Cup update. We'll be back.
These tracks have become my wall, my arena of victory and fear. I relentlessly walk, push, strain, and stretched. Moments when every fiber of my being screams, give up. But the fire within me won't let me quit. Despite the burning muscles, in this sport, every moment matters. Every second counts. My failures, my dreams, my pain, my triumphs, they propel me forward beyond all limits. I am Gina Mariam Basbite, and this is Sunyubus.
Q-Money, your ultimate mobile money partner. Cash in now and get credit bonus up to $250. Yes, $250. Need to cash out? Dial *323#, enter your secret PIN and get your one-time password. Give it to any Q-Money agent and you are done. Send money to your loved ones with a few taps. Dial *323#, enter the amount and confirm. It's that easy. Top up your cash power on the go. Dial *323#. Register your meter number and receive your token via SMS. Q-Money, this is your calpe way to manage your money. We are back. This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. Now let's move on to some sports. I mean, the 2026 World Cup final update. I mean, we have Mr. Mumudu Gajaga. Gajaga, welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure to be here, Balde.
It's good to have you. First, let's talk about the France-England game. I was expecting France was going to thrust England, but unfortunately, it didn't happen that way.
What an exciting game of football it was. High scoring, end-to-end, thrilling finish. It was first England who took the lead, in the early minutes of the game, 2.5 minutes, I would say. And later on, the goals kept raining. First half alone was 4-0 England. Second half, France started fighting back. And to many people's surprise, it was at 4-3 at some point, and eventually England scored a 5th goal, and then a 6th goal as well. So the match ended 6-4, a 10-goal thriller. It was a fantastic game of football. Both sides didn't want to play the third-place playoff. Of course, if you play up to a World Cup semi-final, your ultimate objective is to get to the final and eventually win the trophy. But both for England and France, it was so unfortunate. For France, they were beaten by Spain, the eventual champions. And of course, for England, against Argentina, England dominated the first half, got a very nice goal in the second half. But from then on, they sat back and defended in numbers. So Argentina kept attacking, kept knocking on the door until, like in the closing stages of the game, they scored twice, and England, got beaten in the semi-final. So disappointing for them.
What is this third place? I mean, how important is it?
It's like the bronze medal. So you have the gold medal, that is the one that Spain won last night against Argentina, after winning 1-0. So then you have the silver medal, which goes to Argentina, of course. And then you have the bronze medal, which went to England against France.
Seems like something very prestigious to win. I wouldn't understand why they wouldn't want to put in.
Yeah, it's because you were devastated that you lost the semi-final. So you should have been in the final, and you think you were good enough. You just needed one step further to get to the final, and eventually it feels disappointing. So you have to honor the fixture, because obviously if you don't, you would be fined or maybe suspended or so. So because of the spirit of sportsmanship, you have to play. But many teams don't want to play it. So you could even see it in the players. But eventually, when the game sparked to life by scoring goals, everybody started enjoying, the fans, even the players. They celebrated, but not excessively. It would have been like, okay, if it is a final, you would see excessive celebrations. You would see players jumping all over the place.
So let's talk about the finals yesterday. I mean, for me, I was expecting Argentina is going to trust Spain because Messi is there. For people like me who are not very, into football, but we'll understand, okay, Messi is there, so don't worry, this cup belongs to Messi.
That really tells the story that, you are not a football person. If you think that way. Because if you look at the game prior to even the start of the World Cup, Spain were one of the favorites. Argentina, because they're defending champions, of course. They didn't play that great throughout the competition, even though they reached as far as the final. But when they faced Spain in the final, everyone knew when it comes to controlling the ball, possession, passes, chances created, Spain was always going to dominate. But Argentina have this mentality of never say die. They fight until the last whistle. Yes, so they have that resilience in their team. I think that fighting spirit is what got them to the final, and eventually, but Spain outclassed Argentina yesterday. For the first 90 minutes, until deep into extra time, Argentina didn't have a single shot on goal. A shot means like you are outside the box and then you kick the ball. It's either hit the post or the goalkeeper would save it or something like that. And then there is something called shot on target and shot off target. Shot on target is if you kick the ball and the goalkeeper grabbed it or saved it. So that's called shot on target. But shot off target is if you kick the ball, it even goes out of the field of play, then it becomes a goal kick. Even that Argentina didn't have it in the 90 minutes. It was until deep into extra time. Then, they already conceded one goal from, what's his name again? Fernan Torres. Fernan Torres scored the goal. And after that, Argentina knew time is not on their side. They started attacking. Messi created just two moments and crossed the ball. Unfortunately, Argentina didn't capitalize. But Spain, deservedly, they outplayed Argentina.
It was a very tough game, and they put up a very good fight.
So Argentina defended well. In fact, thanks to their goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez, it would have been a disaster.
Goalkeeper is
Argentina would have maybe lose 4-5-0 against Spain. But thanks to their goalkeeper, he had 10 saves. It's historic in the World Cup and a World Cup final for a goalkeeper to have 10 saves.
He is definitely good. So, I mean, what next for Messi?
Messi,
this is his last World Cup.
I think this is his final World
I
Cup.
honestly don't think he has any. He won the last World Cup. He's put up a very good game throughout the World Cup plays. So I think he's going to be okay.
Yes, he should be fine, but he's devastated. You know, you could see the tears.
I could understand that.
He cried, because perhaps maybe this is his last World Cup match for Argentina. Maybe he will still be part of the team in another capacity. Maybe he will retire, but you never know players. At some point, he retired when he was devastated that they lost, I think, 2 finals of the Copa America in succession, and then had to come back when he was convinced by some of his players, persuaded. And then, a lot of people in Argentina love him. They think, he can still help the team. And eventually he came back. They won the Copa America, and they went on to have a successful World Cup campaign in Qatar 2022. Eventually won it. But I think Messi have done great for football, and everybody enjoyed his time. Yeah, you can still argue whether he's the greatest player of all time. For many people like me, yes, he's the greatest player of all time. But you have others who will argue, no, it's Cristiano Ronaldo. Others, people like the other generation would say Maradona is the best player in the world. And you have others who still say Pele is the greatest player who has ever kicked the ball.
And now the spotlight is on Lamine Yamal.
Of course.
Won a World Cup.
Of course, Lamine Yamal won the World Cup. Though not a great performance, looking at his individual quality.
I was going to say that.
Yes.
His performance was not exceptional, but he's been the topic of conversation.
Because he's the poster boy of football around the world now, Spain to be precise. So even in the Spanish national team, there are players who played far better than him in this World Cup, like the ultimate golden...
Torres isn't mentioned much. I've seen in reports. So,
and the winner of the golden ball, that is
Mbappe.
Rodri.
The golden ball.
The golden ball, that is what's the name again? Golden boot is Mbappe, and then you have the golden ball, that is Rodri. Rodri of Spain, the midfielder who was the captain of the team. He played better than Lamine Yamal, but because Yamal is the poster boy, he's a brilliant player, but he didn't have that great World Cup as an individual. But prior to the World Cup also, he was injured coming into the competition.
Right.
In fact, he missed the first game for Spain, I think even the second game.
So which player do you think stood out to you the most throughout the whole World Cup?
Yes, Kylian Mbappe, fantastic, because he scored 10 goals. So that's the reason why he won the Golden Boot. Lionel Messi has been fantastic until yesterday. He was completely kept quiet because of the way Spain plays. They dominate the ball, they dominate possession, They literally don't give you a chance to even come back in the game. So that's how Spain plays throughout this competition. And then you have other players who really did extremely well. But for me, yes, Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, and I think Jude Bellingham on England also.
Yes,
played
Haaland.
fantastic. Yes,
Haaland,
yes. Even though no way reached the quarterfinals, eventually lost to England. They're still not happy with the score.
How about N'Golo Kante? He didn't play for
France.
He didn't play.
Yeah, he didn't play a single minute for France.
He was benched.
Yeah, he was benched around.
Oh my God.
I saw a lot of sympathy posts about him online.
Yeah. And he's the side type, he doesn't complain.
I didn't see
Even
him.
if the France team is celebrating a victory or something, he had to be pushed in front to come and celebrate with the team. He's always at his little corner.
Thank you, Gajaga. We look forward to next World Cup.
Yes, we're looking forward to the next one.
All right.
And that's in 4 years' time.
Yes. Thank you.
2030.
May we all witness it.
I mean,
yes. Thank you very much, Gajaga, for talking to us on QTV this morning.
It's a pleasure always.
Yeah. So Ma'am Nabu, this is all we have.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So viewers will be back here tomorrow again for another edition of QTV this morning. Until then, bye-bye.